welcome back to the footy, Keith. I better do the intros first. I'm Chris Similis, the General Manager of the Gippsland League, and on my left I have Keith Anderson, who's a reporter from the Warragul Druin Gazette and also doing write-ups for the Record. And well done, Keith, on the first week. I had a couple of compliments about it, so well done.
Very good. Oh, I didn't.
No. All right, it's been a long time between drinks, and we had our first round, and we went without too many hitches, and we had some results probably went the way that most people thought they would. But you know, I think just looking at some of those scores, we've got a couple of teams that have improved, and I think we're going to have a pretty tight season through the year, Keith.
Yes, well, I think the fact that I got all 5 winners suggests that reasonably easy to pick at the weekend, and I think we had 2 games where the margins were 22 points, the others were a bit more than that, so pretty clear-cut results in the games and a bit predictable, though some interesting stuff. I think Sale Traralgon was interesting. Sale got the points, but Traralgon obviously took it up to them fairly well. Its first game of the year, it was at Sale. The other one, I think, Morwell, Wonthaggi. Interesting that Morwell sort of looped up to some of its hype, but that was my understanding a pretty scraggy game, but they did what they had to do to win. But I think Wonthaggi and Bairnsdale are a couple of sides that may be the Smokies yet, we're not quite sure. But as it sits with me looking at the lists that the clubs have, and what they've picked up and what they may have lost, I think the top 5 from last year will take a fair bit of replacing, and it'll take a bit for the 5 clubs that missed the finals last year to push one of them out.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree with you, but I think Bairnsdale will be making a big push. They only had 2 less scoring shots and lost by just under 4 goals to Leongatha, who's obviously going to be a very good unit with the recruits. I was at the Sale Traralgon game, and it was a pretty high standard game, and the Traralgon actually had a few out, but the players that came in for them played very well as well. So it's not to say that the so-called big names that will come back will make a huge difference, but they will get better. So as you say, the top 5, you know, Morwell's improved, but I think Bairnsdale will give a shake there, and I think the Warragul team's probably a bit better than what it's been the last 3 years.
Oh, Warragul's certainly better. There's no question whether they can make that jump quickly enough to be a real finals contender this year. I think we've perhaps got to wait 5 or 6 weeks for Warragul, and perhaps for a better read on Bairnsdale, perhaps for a better read on any of the clubs for that matter. But no, Warragul is certainly better, and they've got a lot of positives. I thought their forward line-up and their set-up at the weekend against Druin is such that once it really gets its act together, it's going to trouble a lot of sides. It's got plenty of height and agility, and young guys with class, and some older ones with a fair bit of talent around the place too.
And I think Matty Gray, I think I mentioned to you on Sunday, getting back being number 1 ruckman, that's the role he seems to play his best at. They've had Mark Bradley there, but I really think, and Matty played so well on Saturday, as usual, where he drops back, takes those marks in defence, then he runs forward and he's an option there. But he played a very good game in the ruck, and I think, you know, Matty Gray, I think, will be back to what he was a couple of years ago, the number 1 ruckman at Warragul, and I think he holds that mantle better than what he does when they're trying to play him in other positions.
Yeah, well, I did actually speak with Matt after the game on Sunday, it was, Chris, and he did tell me he's the fittest he's been for 2 years. He had time out with injuries, and he said he carried injuries into games. He's had a few, you know, big changes in his personal life, a job which took him away, to become a father. His own father had a serious accident, so he's got those behind him. And yeah, it was the Macrae 4 years ago, and I was thinking in my own mind, I hope he puts his hand up for interleague this year, because he really got round the ground superbly, and in my view was easily best on the ground.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll go to round 2. We've got Druin hosting Moe. which is probably a difficult one for both clubs. I think they might be fighting for something that they really don't want to be fighting for, and I know it's very early, but without being rude, I think both sides are in for a long year, but here's their chance to notch up an early win.
Well, I think both clubs will think you are being rude, wiping them off after one game. But they're both first round losers. It's an important game for the club's confidence and the spirit around the club to come out with a win next Saturday at Druin. I'm tending to go with Moe because Druin is just so inexperienced. They have 100 game player in David Olsen, and it'd be hard to find 100 games out of the rest of them put together, whereas Moe has some good quality experienced players in James Blazer, Robinson, Ainsworth, and they've got Lee Sheehan, who was previously at Warragul. Well, they're all good quality players who know what to do with the ball when they get it, and they do get it plenty of times. So I think that may be enough for Moe to have an edge on Druin.
Yeah, and I think, look, Druin, we've said enough, there's been a lot in the press about losing players, but I mean, it's an opportunity for young kids to get in there, get their experience, and I think, without being rude, I think it's going to be a year where a lot of young kids can have a crack at it, and if they're, we'll find out how good they are and get their experience up, and the old team building that Druin's going through, and of course Moe's still going through that as well. But I'm a bit with you. I think Moe just a little bit extra experience than Druin. I'll go for Moe.
I'm actually looking forward, and I will be here early at Druin next Saturday to see the under-16 games. I had some really good reports about Moe's under-16 side last weekend from one of the umpires who handled the game. Reckon they played a terrific style of football, and
I reckon that's probably, we make the comment it's good for footy. It was actually to have Moe win the first up in under-16s against Maffra, who traditionally have been a very strong side. All I can say, it is good for football that Moe has got a good under-16 side, well coached by Lockie Sim, and let's just hope that that's the start of Moe's, for the future. Okay, Morwell hosting Warragul.
Yeah, very interesting game. It'll give us a better line on Warragul, and it'll give us a better line on Morwell as well. So how well they've come. They've obviously recruited well. Rob Michaelides really the only significant loss, and they've picked up well, but it'll be interesting to see if they can take that step forward from what was a pretty positive year for the Tigers last year.
Yeah,
I tipped them to win, and I think the fact that it's home and they've got a bit of early season momentum going, so they might get over the line, but it won't be easy. Anybody who underestimates Warragul will do so at their peril.
Yeah, no, and I agree wholeheartedly there. I believe that Morwell will win. There's a lot of confidence up there at the moment. But again, I agree with you. If you take Warragul easy, they will knock you off for sure, because they will win a few games. They'll win more than what they've been winning. I predict they're going to win 6 to 8 games. So, but I just don't think they'll do it against Morwell. Now, we've got Traralgon hosting Wonthaggi.
Yeah, very important game for two sides that lost in the first round as well. Neither disgraced against pretty capable opposition, or what we understand to be pretty good opposition. So it'll be a big test. Traralgon at home, I just think might have that bit of an edge, but I haven't really got a read on Wonthaggi yet, and they may still have one or two players to come into their lineup that could make a difference.
Yeah,
I'll go for Traralgon.
They've got a couple in the pipeline, and if they're successful, they'll be a much better side. But yeah, I think Traralgon at home, and probably a couple extra coming back. I think they should be too good. But anyway, we'll go to the next one, which is Leongatha hosting Sale, and this should be, it's probably the match of the round, I would suggest.
Oh.
And I think it will be a damn good game.
Yeah, it should be. I'm actually picking Leongatha for no other reason than the home ground advantage. And I think they've got, you know, they'll be on a mission this year, there is no question about that. They felt a little bit, not cheated, but unlucky that a good opportunity was taken away from them last year, but they'll be as good as last year, if not a little bit better, and I think it'll be a terrific game, and I think they'll probably been keying themselves for this game for 2 months, and I just think with the home ground advantage they might just pick this one up.
Yeah, you know, I mean, let's face it, they had some bad luck last year and it took a while to get back, and they only missed out. I think they lost the preliminary final by a point. So, you know, an extra 2 points they were playing in a grand final. So I would suggest that Leongatha, you know, going on last year, they started off like a house on fire, and I think that, you know, I think home ground advantage, certainly, if there's one ground in this league that has got a home ground advantage, it is down at Parrot Park. So I would suggest the Parrots might peck the Magpies around a bit.
Have you got any message on Will Thursfield? You know, like this is played very little last year and didn't front up to play at Bairnsdale.
No, look, he's obviously brought a bit of AFL secret society with him, because it's very hard to get anything out of these AFL people. So Will's sort of keeping everything close to the chest. It's even very hard to get him to answer the phone. But anyway, Will, I hope you're right. I hope you're playing this week and you're an addition to the league when you're out on the ground. The final one, it's a Sunday game. And we've got Maffra hosting Bairnsdale with Andrew Lovett making one of the guest appearances, and I'm sure you'll make a comment on that, Keith.
Well, I've actually already sent my tips off to the illustrious record tipping Maffra, but just for my own personal beliefs, I'd like to see Bairnsdale get up to say this isn't worth it, bringing in somebody for one game. But that's it. Morwell did it last year with Acker, and Morwell beat Terrelgan, so you never know.
Well, look, it's an important game for Maffra because there's two things. One is that they've got Andrew Lovett. He'll be there at training on Thursday, of course, and then Friday night and Saturday night they've got a sportsman's dinner that he's the guest speaker at, so he's going to come up, he's going to do all the stuff that they're supposed to do, that they're worthy of this extra money, but they'll have a huge gate, and of course the coach, Hayden Burgill, plays his 200th game on Sunday. Yeah, which, you know, that's a big incentive. So
did he hold off playing last week? So he have the 200th this week?
I'm not in, he hasn't said that to me, but anyway, it should be a huge game, and you know, if a fella really deserves a lot of accolades, and you know you know, he's playing his 200th. It's a great effort by H, because I think he's a 7-time premiership winner, and the 200th game will be, you know, one of those extra things that he's achieved. But I'm going to go for a smoky here. I just feel that Bairnsdale, they're just moving, they're a lot fitter. Sean Mooney, who happens to be an ex-Maffra player, I reckon Bairnsdale's going to cause an upset. There you go. I just feel that they're primed. They've lost their first home game, which they're very dirty on, and they're so important to win. But I think the Bairnsdale boys are going to come down, hit and run, and have a win at Maffra. So there we go. I know Jimmy Hill and all the boys will hate me for saying this, but I just have this feeling that Bairnsdale are a lot better this year.
Well, that's very good, Chris. You had a feeling that Sale would go through undefeated premiers a couple of years ago, but
well, you know what my feelings are like.
But it would be really great if we could get a couple of upset results this week. Nothing gives the season a bit of a kick along, and a few shock results, and it'd be good to see. I can't pick which ones might be upsets if they're going to occur.
Okay, we haven't got our netball rep, but we'll just quickly do a bit of a rundown on netball. I mean, the most important thing about the netball this year is that Moe has actually been rejuvenated. They've got their 6 grades, A grade back in. Played Maffra, who's been a strong A grade team, and you know they only beat Moe by 11 goals, I think. Here I've got. So you know, again, it's great to see that all the clubs have got their 6 grades, because netball's very important to us. You got a comment there? I know you're a avid netball lover there, Keith.
Yeah, I have.
And keep your eye on it every Monday to check what's happened over the weekend.
I have a bit of a peek in of a Saturdays too, just to see what's going on. But I think I did have a look through the weekend's results, and a couple of things stood out to me. Sale with a really strong win over Traralgon in A grade.
Yeah,
And that wouldn't have happened too much.
No.
And it wasn't that they beat Traralgon, but they beat them very well. A drawn match in A grade, which is Wonthaggi and Morwell. So that's always makes for interesting times, especially when they meet next time round. 2 clubs drew on, and Maffra won in all 6 grades. And up at Bairnsdale, Leongatha, who's been traditionally strong right across the board, won A and B grades, but Bairnsdale took the other 4 grades. So I think Bairnsdale are on their way to making an impact in the netball competition.
And I was a guest at the Sale Netball Club, or Football Netball Club, and they opened their new facilities, and all the dignitaries were there. But look, well done to all the people at Sale. Just Lisa Dunkley and her crew. They've got a fantastic setup. They've got change rooms for the home and away girls, the whole lot. I mean, finally we're getting somewhere with netball facilities. But well done to Lisa and all your crew there. It was just magnificent what they've built there. And I think anybody that goes up to play netball at Sale now, they'll be really impressed with the facilities. I think Traralgon, poor old Q, the president of Traralgon, he was copping a bit of flack from his girls. They want to know when are they going to get something that's equal to what Sale's done. So Latrobe City, you might be getting a phone call from Q over the next few weeks to try and improve the facilities there.
You've spoken so highly about what's happened at Sale there. Lovely football arena. Any chance you might give them a final this year?
Oh, I copped that all Friday night and all day Saturday, but certainly, look, there is no doubt that the facilities are there, and they could hold a final, they could do anything there. But the Gippsland League Board is committed to 2 years of central finals, and obviously at the end of 2013 we'll evaluate the whole situation, but there's no doubt that Sale could host a final, but I'm sure that I'll cop that when I go to Maffra and a few other clubs, because they'll tell me the same thing. But great facilities, and it's just fantastic that people are actually improving their netball. Do you want to just tip anyone there, Keith, or you're not that...
What, in the netball?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have a clue.
Okay, no
Don't
worries.
you pretend you know something
Well,
about netball either.
I think that Druin, they'll beat Moe, I believe, but it won't be as easy as what they think. Morwell will defeat Warrigal. I'll make that as a strong prediction. I think Traralgon and Wonthaggi, that's going to be a very interesting one, and I'm not sure who's going to win that. I think Wonthaggi might, though. Now, that's double Dutch there, but anyway. Leongatha and Sale. Well, Sale will win that. And then Maffra and Bairnsdale. I think Bairnsdale might win that one in the A grade as well. So there's all my tips. We'll see how far wrong I am. But look, thank you very much. Our first week back. And we'll see you for round 2. Thank you.